Hello people, it's very early Friday morning. I'm driving just past Main Street, Colorado City and I-20. I'm headed west. I just was having some funny thoughts. I just drove through Sweetwater. That's where I graduated high school. I'm going to tag some people that I graduated with because to them this would be a relevant memory and probably fun too. We had a teacher, believe it was economics. His name was Carlos Alvarado. And he was a little bit tough. Kind of a hardcore type of guy. Not hardcore, but stern, strict, unbudging. It was his class. I can understand it now. I understood it then. Didn't always like it, but understood it. So anyhow, that's Mr. Alvarado. He had one of them classes that people would pass on tips and whatever, or be like, "Oh man, watch out for that guy," year to year. Anyhow, I got by him all right. The one memory, pretty memorable. I'll never forget. There's two assemblies for the end of the year. One for just the student body and the school mostly, and then the other one for the public. Well, this one for the school, I was getting an ag scholarship for being on my performance on the judging teams, I believe, and I had some Billy Bob teeth. Well, I'm always up for a good time and a joke, so I knew I was going on stage. I had these teeth in, and I just kept my mouth closed like this, walking on stage, and they called my name, Mr. Puckett, handed me my certificate, and shook my hand, and I turned to the crowd and waved and smiled. And there was a row of teachers sitting on that stage. And Mr. Pittman, Terry Pittman, he was a good man, deacon at the First Baptist Church where I was a member with my family. Anyhow, walked by Pittman on my way off the stage, and he said, "You get in my office right now." He kind of mumbled that to me, so I did. I got to the bottom of the 3 or 4 or 5 steps. There's about 4 or 5 steps to the bottom right there, and there stood Carlos Alvarado with his hand out. He wanted them teeth. All right. I didn't suck the spit off of them or nothing. I gave him a handful of wet tooth. And then I walked into Mr. Pittman's office and waited on the assembly to be over. And he come in and he got behind his desk and he said, this is, quote, him to me. And I didn't take no offense to it. I knew he was having to be stern also. Quotation. "Why do you keep pulling this shit, Bo? And I'm bad to tell the truth even when it hurts." And I said, "Well, I guess I like the attention." And like I told you in that other video, I knocked that cop out with the truth. I guess I knocked Mr. Pittman out with the truth, because he goes, you could see it on his face. He goes, "That's probably the most honest answer you ever give me." He informed me he could suspend me and keep me from graduating. He said he's going to keep the teeth till after I graduated. I did go up there after I graduated and try to get them. Anyways, graduation night, that reminded me of another. Because I'm going to have to, you know what, this will just be a long video. You can watch it if you want to or you won't. My junior year, I was in possession of some very hard alcohol at school, and I got kicked out of school for 5 weeks the remaining 5 weeks of that current 6 weeks period. And so I could not, when I came back, even though my grades, my GPA would allow it, I couldn't be a member of the National Honor Society. Well, my older sister Sarah was always a very good student and intelligent, and she was a member of the National Honor Society. Well, this is graduation night. I had, like I said, the GPA for it, but because I disqualified myself by having gone to alternative school. This was my mom's idea. She goes, "Why don't you wear Sarah's National Honor Society sash?" And so, walking across the stage, I did. And I gladly shook Mr. Pittman's hand. We both knew what I was up to. And no harm, no foul. So, anyhow, I started and thought of all this because Mr. Alvarado, I hadn't seen him since high school, but years ago, right around 2003, because I was awarded the first DWI or DUI of Humboldt County, California, 2003. Later that year, to get to my alcohol class, I was driving in my van, which was not registered or insured because I hadn't been driving it. I was just in a bind that day. So I was working at Haagen-Dazs Ice Cream there in Tulare, California. And I had gotten this ticket for driving on suspended, no insurance, no license. I told that man I'm headed to class, and he goes, "I could tow you and take you to jail." He goes, "You just go to your class." I said, "Yes, sir." Anyhow, everybody I work with said, "Kings County is full and they'll kick you out." So I went down. We were working a shutdown there at Haagen-Dazs. I worked for a stainless welding outfit. The day we got laid off, I went down to that courthouse, and I didn't have a court date, but I waited till last, and I stood before that judge, and I said, "Sir, 3 weeks ago, I stood before you for driving on suspended. You awarded me 10 days in jail, a $1,200 fine, and I said, "Sir, I just got laid off today. I'm not working. I'd like to do the whole thing in time." And he goes, "Well, there's a work program you can get in and work off $100 a day." And I said, "Yes, sir, I checked into that program, but after I finish it, I got to pay you $130 for having been in that program, and I work way too good to pay anybody for my labor." And that gal typing, her face just kinda, she didn't know what to think, and he got fuming mad. I could see smoke kinda rolling off his head. And he goes, "Well, I'm writing down here, I recommend you serve the entire 21 days. And I said, "Sir, like I told you, I don't have anything else going on right now." And he goes, "You reported 7 o'clock tonight. Don't be late." And I said, "Yes, sir." So I'm in jail for 21 days, and there's Norteños in there. And this pod, there's 15 of us, but the pod leader, the head Norteño, the dude, we get to talking. I tell him I'm from Sweetwater, Texas. He goes, "I got family there." And I said, "What's your name?" And he said, "Alvarado." I said, you ain't related to any teachers, are you?" And he goes, "Carlos Alvarado is my uncle." I said, "I'll be danged, he was my economics teacher, or government." And so I always try to be a likable fella, especially in jail. I ain't no pushover and I ain't easy, but I'll joke with you. And if we got something common like that, took him back to his family, back to my hometown. I made friends with the pod leader unintentionally. We had that in common, and so I had a pretty easy time playing cards if I wanted to. One day I did 700 push-ups and 700 or 800 sit-ups, but just thought of that, and so I'll tag a couple people that I went to high school with that knew Mr. Alvarado, and hope you enjoyed that 10 minutes of memories down Interstate 20. All right, then.